Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Black Four Horsemen podcast. It's your boy Q back with another Marvel movie review. I promised y'all a spoiler version of Spider-Man Brand New Day the last time we was on. Hey, life has been life and hadn't got a chance to get to it, but I'm not by myself. I want bringing in a friend of mine too to help bounce off ideas and kind of talk this movie through. So welcome to the pod, Swag. What's going on with you, man?
Hey man, what's going on? Ready to talk about this new Spider-Man movie?
Yeah, like, and
Yeah.
I said it in my preview of the spoiler free one that this was the best Spider-Man movie that I've seen. We'll get your opinion about it, as
Okay.
we talk about it. But yeah, so here is your warning now that we are spoiling the entire movie. So if you haven't seen it, go watch the movie first, then come back to the video. I have a spoiler free review previously that you can go back and watch on the channel. But yeah, so as I say this, I'm going to add it to the screen. This is your spoiler warning right here at the 1 minute and 5 second mark. So from now on, if you don't want to be spoiled away, turn the video off now. If you keep going, then I know you're down for the spoiler. So all right, here we go. So and I going back and trying to remember some stuff. I know as the movie opens, you see Spider-Man, and as he said, his neighborhood Spider-Man actually solving neighborhood crimes in the city. Stopping robberies, stopping bank heights, and things of that nature. And if you remember, this movie comes off right off of Spider-Man No Way Home. Is that the one with
Right.
the other? So where you
Yeah.
brought in
Mhm.
where Doctor Strange cast the spell for everybody to forget who he was. So the movie starts out him fighting crimes, but you can see that he's still connected with Ned and MJ. He's actually watching them through social media, following them and watching their every move. And as you saw, 4 years passed during that opening montage. You see them go to MIT. You see a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year, and that's where the movie kind of starts. So one thing I wanted to ask you is because in this whole scene too, you see Spider-Man, stopping crimes. I
Mhm.
don't know if you're familiar with this, but the way he was webbing up the enemies, his interaction, his connection with the police detective came off of the Insomniac Spider-Man games. I know you're an Xbox guy, so you
Yes.
didn't you didn't play any of the Spider-Man games. So
No, I did
so
not. So
so
that so you saying that police woman
yeah,
was
is
in that game?
in the game.
Oh, I love that.
So the fact that relationship, because I think even in the game, Spider-Man refers to him as Spider Cop because he's helping the police do certain things or whatever.
Huh.
And and he has a positive working relation with the police in the game.
Yeah.
So
That
so
was
yeah,
interesting. The
yeah.
fact
So
that he slick had a mentor, right? Like that was his only connection to people
yeah,
and
because nobody
certain
else knew,
mentor.
yeah, really knew who he was. They knew Spider-Man, but they didn't know uh the other people that knew him from previous movies, like the Avengers and things of that nature, did not know
Right.
who Peter Parker was. So
Right.
yeah, so that was one of the things that stuck out to me. So yeah, you had Spider-Man, Spider-Man 1, you had a Miles Morales game and a Spider-Man 2 game where they both work together,
Whoa.
Spider-Man and Miles Morales. So but they
And you said
are
that's only on
it's on
PS4?
PlayStation. Yeah, so yeah, PlayStation, PS4, and PS5. I know you're an Xbox guy, so
I
you
am. I
you
am.
missed out on that. So yeah, I definitely wanted to bring that up.
Cool.
So yeah, so as you see, he's watching MJ and Ned throughout their college experience. He moves. I guess was he living in the same building with them, or did he just
He,
visit them?
he was living in a different building than them,
And then I
but
think the
he
lady
moved
recognized him.
in
Yeah,
that building. Yeah.
yeah.
He moved in that building. That's one of the things that I noticed. So when I went to the movie, I missed the first scene. I came
Okay.
in on when he was doing the fighting, so I missed like a little bit of it.
Mm-hmm.
So we stayed after to go to a different showing so I could get the first scene.
Get
Yeah, I
your
needed
get
that
that
first
first thing.
scene. I couldn't
Yeah,
miss
yeah.
it, and I'm glad I did because one of the things I saw was that he was in a place, he was in an apartment, and somebody spoke to him,
Somebody recognized
and
him. Yeah,
and
like
he was like, went back to the building owner. He was like, "Can I get somewhere else?" And so they put him in an old moldy place that was by himself upstairs where nobody else, because he wanted to be completely isolated. And that whole being isolated thing, like
yeah, yeah,
mental health, like that whole thing, kind of is where I am about this movie. Like I think
yeah.
Marvel's on that mental health kick.
Yeah, that's one thing you learn too as you watch the movie is that you learn that you can't do this alone. Regardless, you're not necessarily being a superhero or just living life. You can't do that on your own and by yourself. So you need people around you. Um, so and one thing it's funny that I feel like the trailer threw us off on a lot of different things. And people talk about because Tombstone, who was a Marvel villain, was rumored to be in this movie. A lot of other ones, they just had cameo shots. There wasn't. It was like they in it for like 2 seconds. You see him, one Emmy wrapped up, webbed up on the wall. That was all. That's all the action he had. So, but yeah, you find out quickly that something else is going on. I didn't get this at first. So as the movie is going on, and you see Peter changing, and he's mutating into this, what he thinks is a spider, mutating because he's watching YouTube videos, trying to find out what's going on, trying to figure out his cure. I take it that they did that because for the reason for him to build an inhibitor, which you're gonna get to when we goes to visit Bruce Banner, who's the Incredible Hulk. He has an inhibitor on to keep him from turning into the Hulk. So he was trying to use that inhibitor to keep whatever this mutation thing going on, keep it at bay. And I think, and as we get to the end, I'll talk about future movies, that inhibitor is going to come back into play even past this movie. I think when we talk about who the villain was and how they controlled her and how they can possibly control other people like her at the end in the next movies coming up, I think that inhibitor or the technology behind the inhibitor is going to come back to life.
Yeah, I think they hit on that. I also think that inhibitor also spoke to people maturing and growing up, but not wanting to change. But that whole him becoming more, he became stronger, right?
Yeah.
Like literally, that's what he did. And he didn't want to become stronger. That's kind of weird. Like, why don't you want to become stronger? But that whole thing.
But I think again with the whole organic web, so not having to use web shooters and using those own. I think he's more worried about that. Like, why is this happening to me? But I think that was all just a setup for the inhibitor.
Do you think he'll need to be stronger for the next movie? He has to be stronger. Like, if he wasn't stronger, maybe he's not as effective.
Maybe, but I think you may went down a different path than what I want to go to as far as the inhibitor. But we'll talk about that. I'll go back to what I was saying. Gotcha. So and then you also, as the beginning of the movie, you also see that he has built a relationship with the Punisher. So so there's little things where I guess Spider-Man saved him at some point. This was off the movie, so before the movie,
right?
And Frank doesn't like that. He keeps bringing that up.
That was hilarious.
So now, did you watch the Punisher series on?
I did. A long time ago that I don't remember it. I literally just watched Defenders again. I just watched Daredevil season 1, 2, and 3 again.
Yeah. So I'll tell you a quick story about Daredevil. For some reason, because Daredevil, Luke Cage, Jesse Jones, all those came out at Netflix at first during that time, and Defenders.
Right.
I watched the first 2 seasons of Daredevil, but for some reason did not watch the third one. The third one is when they introduced Bullseye. Well, Bullseye is more prominent in 3. He's introduced in 2. And then 3, and then the Punisher also has some interactions with Daredevil during that season. So then, of course, watching. Then I went back and watched the Punisher series to see where it is. But that was an interesting dynamic to have Spider-Man and the Punisher kind of friends and working together on the same things. Because if you know anything about the Punisher is guns blazing, everything running. Right. He's not stealthy at all. He's just running in, guns blazing.
Ask questions later.
Right. So it's interesting to see that dynamic throughout the movie. But so as this is going on, and Peter is fighting crimes, he's going through his little change mutation. He goes to Bruce Banner, who he knows as Incredible Hulk, because of the time of his Avengers. Hulk does not know him. He's asking all these questions about evolution and evolving and how it changes. And so that's where the inhibitor comes in. He gets the idea to create, I think, a universal inhibitor.
Right.
He's trying to keep the good stuff but take away the bad stuff. And then Bruce Banner mentions that how can you determine what's good and what's bad? So he creates this universal inhibitor, and it works for a while, but it starts malfunctioning. And while this is going on, there's some other things going on in town. You see these people getting basically possessed, and they're jumping in and out. So all of a sudden, this person is talking to Peter, and he was like, "Who is this?" And even I was like, "This is not a Spider-Man villain that I recognize. These powers I don't recognize."
Right. No.
So this goes back and forth, and to a point where Peter goes, and I can't remember. I think he purposely goes to this party that MJ and Ned are having.
He did.
Just to kind of see them in the elevator. Of course, they run it. They see him. You know, what's your name? He introduced himself and all that stuff. So, but while he's there, and if I remember correctly, the supposed villain, I'm not gonna mention the name yet.
Okay.
You know, possessing people, whatever. Is that how she found out about? Well, she jumped in. My fact, she jumped. Right. That person jumped in Peter's head first.
She tried to.
She tried to, and he said, "This is the first time someone you resisted me or pushed me out." And she ended up pushing herself into somebody else, and that person said that, "Oh, that's never happened before."
But that was after the party. That was him stopping. She was trying to get VMAX.
Yeah, so you hear this word about VMAX. We don't know what VMAX is. We're like, what is VMAX? Is some kind of secret classified document. We didn't know what it was. And supposed damage control, who is I guess a branch of type of governmental police and superheroes, which they introduced, if I remember correctly, damage control was introduced in a few Marvel series, like TV series. She's looking for this villain is looking for VMAX. That's why she's kind of and damage control is and I forget what TV series damage control was introduced there. I
had to look it up. I had to look it up, and now that I looked it up, I remember it. Damage control was shown in Miss Marvel, and it was shown in Wonder Man.
Yeah, I do remember Wonder Man, but that wasn't I knew that wasn't the latest one.
But so it was in Wonder Man, and it was mentioned in She-Hulk.
And She-Hulk because
Miss Marvel was the big one. Miss Marvel and Wonder Man were damage control in the Department of the United States actually did some work on looking into those superheroes.
Yeah. So you got that department too, trying to look for this particular villain or whatever, along with Spider-Man. So you reveal, and I think it does reveal earlier that and I remember when I was in the theater, and I'm just going to say it now, it was revealed that the person that was doing this stuff was Jean Grey from the X-Men. When that name popped up on the screen, the theater I was in, they started clapping. Like everybody wow. So because nobody because there was rumors beforehand that this particular actor, Sadie Sink, who actually played in Stranger Things, because of the ginger hair, was going to be Jean Grey. We just didn't know how Jean Grey and how the X-Men would be introduced in Spider-Man. But turns out she's kind of like the villain because she is possessing these people looking for VMAX. We found out that VMAX has something to do with her sister being missing. That and the message, at least Jean Grey claims, that message was sent to her through her sister about VMAX. Now, I didn't remember Jean Grey having a sister. I actually looked that up too. In the comics, she does have a sister named Sarah, but Sarah does not have any powers.
Right.
In this movie, her sister Sarah basically had the same telepathic powers that Jean does. Yeah. So that's something they changed for the movie.
My estimation, she wasn't the strongest Jean. That was just my assumption. She couldn't have been as strong as Jean.
Yeah, well, according to Google, I think I looked it up after the movie, is that in the comics, her sister Sarah, I think, did pass away, but she also did not have any powers. So they just tried to kind of use that as a way. And now in the movie, you see Sarah kind of teaching Jean how to use those powers. And it started out where she could only, possess someone who's like 30 feet away. And so trying to strengthen that, damage control ends up kidnapping her sister. So that's where Jean Grey is trying to find damage control, find her sister. So at this point, she thinks damage control has a sister, and it traces out to a and I don't want to skip too far here because there's a couple things I want to mention beforehand. So as this is going on, and Peter is trying to get information about what's going on, he reaches out. He realizes he can't do it by himself, so he reaches out to another superhero, and he reaches out to Yelena from Thunderbolts. And so you seen Thunderbolts, and she was in Thunderbolts. She was also in Black Widow as a cast, and I don't know if you watched the TV series Hawkeye, but she shows up in Hawkeye also because she thinks Hawkeye killed Black Widow, which is Yelena's sister. But it's funny this scene because her office is like in a spa, so she's in a hot tub, and this scene makes Peter get out and get into the hot tub as well. That's another. That's and he still had the mask on,
right.
and no clothes to show. Which, if you played the Spider-Man games, is a skin in the game where he just has the mask
Really?
on in his underwear. He's swinging around the
That's
city.
hilarious.
So that was a throwback to. At least I thought that was a Easter egg to that game as well.
So what did she have? What did she say that what Spider-Man did? She said his
he
minor?
Well, she was talking about just how you deal with crimes or whatever. She said you deal with small potatoes.
Right.
We the Avengers deal with big potatoes.
Yeah.
Big potatoes, small potatoes.
Yeah.
You deal with small potatoes.
But that's crazy to me because Spider-Man literally was in big stuff before.
Right. But I think
small potatoes.
Yeah, but I think that goes back to him being quote unquote the neighborhood friend, the friendly neighborhood spider. You deal with neighborhood stuff. We the Avengers, we deal with big stuff. Worldwide stuff. So
right.
So I thought I feel like that was another Easter egg with that in there. So get going to Yolanda. Had to go to Yolanda twice for a couple things. Find out what's going on with him. Also to get a location on someone in particular.
Did you hear them call her Black Widow?
Yes, which I think going forward in the next Avengers movie, she is the new Black Widow. Since the other one, the sister passed away in Avengers Endgame. She's the new Black Widow. There was a lot of things it's a lot of projects that have been rumored about going on because there's supposed to be, at least if they haven't scrapped it yet, a Young Avengers team as well, and that's with Miss Marvel, Kate Bishop, who's with Hawkeye, and supposedly they're going to age up Iron Man's daughter, and so make them all
Yeah, it wouldn't be surprised if T'Challa's son.
Right, Black Panther. Yeah, I can see them being incorporated in that as well. But this kind of interactions as Peter is trying to find out. Well, what I wanted to get at when it comes to Jean Grey. So at the same time, Peter is trying to fight off what Jean is doing, find out what's going on with that. Also trying to keep his friends out of danger. Now the friends don't know that they're in danger, but Peter knows. So, and the one thing I wanted to get at was when Jean possessed. Well, I gotta say, I can't think of another word. Possessed MJ, and when he jumped in MJ's head, and I think MJ does not know who Peter is. She has no memory of them having a relationship, and they're on top of the roof, and she kisses him.
That was so dirty.
It was so dirty because she was like, so Jean basically kisses him using MJ's body, and then she looks at him like, dude, there is like no memory of you in here. Like she does not know you at all. And Peter's thinking this is really MJ and that he's really kissing his girlfriend. And yeah, it
was so dirty. He broke down. And he did not realize he was not kissing the person that was the love.
Right.
Because he was still loving his life.
The love of his life. Yeah, that was dirty. And I say that to say because when Peter, so once that's over and Peter takes MJ home, he asked her, did I apologize about the kiss and blah blah blah. She didn't remember any of that stuff because MJ was in it. So that's when he realized that Damage Control had lied to him about because I forgot, I skipped the scene, but Jean Grey ended up possessing the guy that's over Damage Control, and I forget his name. He plays Milchick in the show. Is it Succession? On Apple TV, something like that. I always get those two the HBO shows because they got a similar name mixed up. But he plays in that role in that show because he said that he was saying that MJ was asking about a girl named Sarah. He was like, well, I don't know anything about that. Maybe I was thinking about a girl named Sarah that I think he said that I used to know or date or something. Maybe that's what she's getting it from. Turns out Sarah is his sister. When MJ tells him that, no, I didn't remember any of that, he realized that guy lied about that, and he did know who Sarah was. So that prompts him to go back to Damage Control's facility. So you got him going to Damage Control, trying to get into this vault. Which again, I'm thinking VMAX. I'm thinking the vault. I even said because I ended up going to the movies with a couple bro with Christian and Ed. Okay. They ended up getting those tickets. So I was like, man, who's behind the wall? I'm thinking he even mentioned. I think Christian mentioned Juggernaut because you heard a lot of rumbling behind it. So we thinking something like that.
It could have been anything because the X-Men were introduced. Once the X-Men are introduced,
anything mutants opens. So, but while in that scene at that facility, Bruce Banner shows up and MJ is able to jump into his mind, creating a Hulk and a bigger, stronger version of Hulk that we hadn't seen in a while. The Punisher is also there, so now the Punisher and Spider-Man are fighting the Hulk to a point where they basically tears the whole building down, and so it's so then you realize how much damage MJ can do within certain people, and when she gets into a bigger, stronger body like that. That scene happens. They finally, you see a showdown between Punisher and the Hulk. They finally break it down, able to capture the Hulk after basically getting the ass whooped for about 10 minutes in there because
he was doing what he needed. He was doing what he's supposed to do. If it wasn't for the new string that Spider-Man could do,
right,
Hulk would have been the Hulk.
Yeah, so. and funny going back that new strength also goes back to another scene I missed where MJ is able to help Peter fix the inhibitor where it doesn't overheat, and now he can use it, like it's supposed to be used. So they build that connection there. But we finally
that was weird because I was just like, okay, you're really this smart that you can come in here with once and now.
Well, you got to think
Bruce Banner was trying to fix for years.
Yeah, well, you got to think both of them, all three of them. Well, Peter didn't go because Spider-Man, but they all got enrolled at MIT.
MIT, I guess. Yeah,
and this was a almost like an engineering type fix or problem. So, but you finally get into this vault where supposedly VMAX is, and you see that they have captured MJ. They have her in this room, and they are sending out these like sonic light waves to it, trying to amplify her power. I thought, and if you're familiar with X-Men, it looked like to me that they was creating. This is kind of like the first version of Cerebro, which Professor X does to communicate with other mutants out in the world. And I think that was almost like that was the blueprint. And I'm sure as we go further in the X-Men movies, that might be brought back up where he gets that and kind of improves it to create that.
Did you realize what island they were on that island?
No, I did not.
So that island was whatever the island was at the first X-Men movie. In the first X-Men movie where what's the street girl, Rogue? And they had that machine and Rogue was in.
Yeah.
So they were the same island. It was Richards Island or whatever the name of the island.
Okay.
You can look it up. It's the same. It was the same place because it was the same location.
I do remember that. I remember that now. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So of course, once MJ is in this room and these waves going, she looks up and she sees and basically an air conditioning vent, like a little sticker on the air conditioning vent that shows VMAX. It's actually something else. You see a V, some of the letter is off or hanging out, and you see Max. That's where VMAX comes in. And then she realizes that her sister Sarah was in that same room, and this is where she died, in this room.
Right.
So that's when, at least in my opinion, you saw an early version of
the Phoenix.
The Phoenix come out. MJ. And whatever blast she gave out basically froze everybody throughout the city. So ultimately, Spider-Man is trying to get into that room to keep MJ from killing the guy from Damage Control. Right. The ninja hand, who was the ninjas who, again, this is where the trailer throws you off. The hand is from the Daredevil series. We thinking the hand was going to be part of like the villains in this show, and that would also open up the hand for Daredevil to be there. But
in theory, they were part of the villain.
They were, but at least we're introduced to them as friendlies. Like they've changed, and they're like almost like bodyguards for the government and for the and for Damage Control. So you see, he has to basically Spider-Man have to fight them off.
I consider them ice. I said they were ice in my head. They were like ice. They had they were face covered and they were working for the government.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that they were definitely ice. So basically the movie ultimately climaxes with Spider-Man being able to get inside, stop MJ from killing the guy from Damage Control, get her out of there. They end up calming her down, and you see MJ kind of saw Jean Grey, because she snuck out and was able to leave in town. And we all assume that she's going to show up at Professor Xavier's school as we go into what's rumored to be the next X-Men movie as they do this reboot.
Yeah,
of the
but
X-Men series.
but there's a piece that you are you going to talk about the Peter going to the hospital and why?
Yeah.
That
Oh yeah. So as we see MJ drive off, because I can't remember which happened first.
So this was right after the scene because they were in that vault.
Yeah.
So Peter fought everybody, fought the ninjas, he made it to where Jean Grey was, and he was talking to her. He got her to calm down. But then the Punisher, and so she had frozen a kilometer circumference around the facility. She had frozen a kilometer circumference. The Punisher was over a kilometer away outside of the area where everybody was froze, and he shot into that facility.
Trying to shoot Jean Grey. Yeah,
trying to shoot Jean Grey because, again, like you said earlier, he's guns blazing. He shoot first, ask questions later.
Yeah.
He shot. Peter sensed it, turned around and got in the way of the bullet. And instead of it shooting Jean, it shot him.
Yes, I do. I forgot about that part. Yeah. So
yeah, and then Jean kept him alive. Like if it wasn't for Jean, Spider-Man would have died.
Yeah.
So kept him alive, got him to the hospital, and at the hospital, he pretty much kept him breathing until he could breathe for himself. And then she left. And that's when she left. Yeah.
You're right. I did forget about the scene. So funny that you mentioned that because a lot of stuff comes out after the fact. There was a scene in the hospital scene that got cut out of the movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if you sent me that or somebody else sent me that.
I sent it to you. Yeah.
So where who was actually in the comic books, so in the Daredevil comic books, that nurse, they call her night nurse.
And she was in Luke Cage too.
She was in Luke Cage. Yeah, she was in part of Daredevil. She was the one that kind of patching the Daredevil up after fights, things of that nature.
Yeah.
So she was supposed to be in that scene, and they ended up cutting her out of that scene. But I feel like they should have kept her in there because they could have again opened the door for Daredevil or anybody else, just a little Easter egg to keep her in there. But while in the hospital, the Punisher comes to visit. Spider-Man at this point knows that you shot me, dude. So, but Peter doesn't have his mask on in the hospital. So, he was trying to. So as the Punisher is in there, because at this point, I don't think even the Punisher, knew what Spider-Man looked like.
No, the Punisher had never seen his face. Right. Nobody had ever seen Spider-Man's face.
Right. So that makes sense. So he's freaking out about not having his mask on.
Yeah, the Punisher was like, "You look like I thought you would look."
Yeah,
somebody from Queens. It was like he definitely provided the comic relief.
He did. Yeah, he did. So then, then at that point, Punisher comes up with the idea of sneaking Peter out of the hospital because at this point, all the Spider-Man fans are outside of the hospital, wanting to see him to make sure he's okay. And so Peter was able to sneak out, and while Punisher put on the Spider-Man mask, and when I looked out the window and waved to let the crowd know that Spider-Man was okay as Peter snuck out. So that
was dope. That was dope. It was like he was in the middle of the crowd and enjoying everybody loving on Spider-Man. And the Punisher was up there being somebody totally not him, which is cheerful and celebrating.
Oh yeah.
It was hilarious.
Oh yeah, total opposite of his personality. So that was good. And there's a scene again. This is some off-camera stuff. So in that crowded scene, that little boy that's on his shoulders was a big Spider-Man fan, and somebody like a news coverage had caught wind of it, and they allowed him to be on set. So that was a real like Spider-Man fan.
Oh, really?
To be a part of the movie. Yeah, they
somebody they saw.
Yeah, that had wrote to like a local news station about how big of a fan he was, and they put him in the movie. And I think he had met Tom Holland, the actor, beforehand. So they was the only two that. So really, I only think the other extras knew who the little boy was. But that little scene where they kind of throw the Spider-Man look at each other, that was part of them, kind of awake and not just say, "I know who you are" type thing. So
that's interesting. That's interesting. I didn't know that.
So the movie pretty much ends at that point. Jean was able to escape and do her thing. So that's going to lead to X-Men movie. We may see Punisher and Spider-Man interact again in future movies. We don't know. Did you stay for the post-credit scene?
Of course, and it was very short. I stayed the entire time to watch the post-credit scene.
Trust me, and people and there's been complaints about it because all you show is it's like almost like a computer-generated graphic of the Spider Finder, which is another thing Ned introduces in the movie. but that's brought up in the video game as well because that's the way of how Spider-Man kept up with all the crime
I
going
can
on.
see that.
Yeah. So you see him that said Spider-Man is here, and all of a sudden you see the screen him kind of go off of Earth and said not found, no signal, and then the Spider-Man thing beeps when he's like on another planet out in space. So I didn't read the comics. I'm not 100% sure, but comic book people that I know said that that's supposed to lead to, I think, battle bots, something like that, battle wars, something like that, which comes in the comics after Secret Wars. So,
really?
And this is a spoiler of Secret Wars in the comics. Supposedly, Doom wins in the comics, basically destroys everything. And that's where they almost have to go to like a whole nother planet to start over. And in that destruction, this cosmic guy pulls the heroes out from different places and put them almost in like a gladiator arena to making them fight each other. Like he's almost like, these are my toys and I'm gonna make y'all fight each other. That's what the whole Battle Wars thing is. That's part of the comics. So we don't know if that's gonna lead to that movie, but that's what that post credit scene meant.
Yeah. I saw somewhere that they said that this was a teaser to Doomsday, that it's like the tie-in to Doomsday, but that makes the whole,
because supposedly when Doomsday happened, yes, I guess supposedly Doom wins in Doomsday, which also brings up Secret Wars, and after Secret Wars, this whole Battle War stuff.
So I did see Secret Wars was on the list. So
it's the next Avengers. So after Doomsday, we're not going to get another Marvel movie, at least not like an Avengers movie, until December 2028, which is supposed to be Secret Wars.
Okay.
So December 2027, because 6 will be Doomsday. So 2027 will be Secret Wars. So whatever happens.
So a year later.
Yeah, a year later after Doomsday. Yeah, it's supposed to be Secret Wars. And now the rumor is they're getting rid of the television series and stuff. So there may be some smaller individual movies in between in the meantime, but the one we get all the Avengers, all the superheroes together again will be a year later in Secret Wars.
So I don't know. I'm gonna take you back a little bit because I got a question for you.
Okay.
In the last Spider-Man movie, No Way Home, when Peter needed a lawyer, do you remember who that lawyer was?
Yes, that was Daredevil. That was Daredevil. Yeah.
And so I'm wondering if all of those, Iron Fist, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, if the rest of them will also be part of maybe future Spider-Man movies.
I think they're all supposed to be slowly reintroduced, because if you watch the last, Daredevil, there's Daredevil.
I haven't watched Born Again yet.
That's what I was about to say. So you have 3 Daredevil series just called Daredevil. Then you got, I think, 2 of Daredevil Born Again.
Yes.
Jessica Jones does pop up in the 2nd season of Daredevil Born Again. So that reconnects them. And matter of fact, not only Jessica Jones, and I'll give you a little spoiler, but it's not much.
It does.
Jessica Jones has a daughter. That daughter is by Luke Cage. So Luke Cage shows up on the last two episodes of Daredevil Born Again.
So now you're gonna make me watch it now.
Yeah, you got to watch it because matter of fact, that's why I'm getting confused, because Bullseye shows up a lot in Born Again. It shows up again in Born Again.
So Bullseye was not named Bullseye in Daredevil, the first Daredevil season 3, but he was the bad guy.
Right.
So maybe that's what it is.
Killed. So I'm saying that name now because he probably gets that name in Born Again.
In Born Again, because I watched the first episode like recently. He's called Bullseye there.
Yeah. So that's where he gets the name from. Same person. Yeah.
Yeah.
He cold with it too. Man could take a what you call a little safety pin, flick it, and bounce across the wall a couple times and go through somebody's neck. I mean, that's just how cold he is with it.
That's crazy. The other thing I wanted to ask you, going back to Jean Grey and her sister Sarah, do you remember the Marvel movie where they went to Jean Grey's house?
Yes,
that's Professor X got. She killed Professor X.
Yeah, I think that was probably was that the Rise of the Phoenix, or was that one of the other ones? But you see her power. That's when you see the Phoenix power almost.
I really think she had a sister on, like they showed like a picture of her family, and I think I remember seeing a picture of her sister and her mother and father.
Yeah, I have to go back and look at that, but because you see her, that's a young Jean Grey. Professor X goes to visit her.
That might be like 3 or 4. That's the third.
Because I went back and I had to put some furniture together for the wife, so I just had movies playing in the background. So I think I had X-Men, First Class, and X-Men Days of Future Past playing while I was doing this stuff. So, but yeah, a lot of, and it's funny because I was late on. I don't know if you watched the X-Men '97, the animated series on Disney
Back
Plus.
in the day.
So
yeah,
so it continues from back in the day to now with newer episodes. A couple of those, like Bishop and a couple more X-Men, are in X-Men Days of Future Past.
right.
When they mentioned name, I didn't know who he was at the time when I watched the movie, but now that I've seen the animated series, I recognize those names now. So, yeah, so a lot of that movie wrapped up a lot of things going forward when it comes to the Marvel projects that we are looking forward to. So, yeah, this so people that are fans of this YouTube channel, there's a lot of wrestling content on here, but I've dropped some Marvel, so I'm gonna create a whole other playlist when it comes to Marvel stuff because I'm gonna come back and do this. As we're gonna review Doomsday. Cool. I want to review Vision Quest when it comes out. It's gonna be a series. So I think Vision Quest and of course and Doomsday I think is the only thing that's coming out this year.
Yeah. Well, you got you have the reshowing of Endgame with the extra 7 minutes.
Yeah. I'm debating about that if I'm gonna go see that or not, but
I'm in the seat. I want to see those. I just want to know if I can find the 7 extra minutes.
Yeah,
that's why I want to go see it. It's like what are the 7 extra minutes?
Yeah, and I might do the same just to see that stuff that they add, because supposedly whatever they add, it's gonna connect it directly to Doomsday. So
right.
Okay. So as we wrap up, again, go see Spider-Man. It's an excellent movie. Now, matter of fact, that's why I want to ask you now, just off the top of your head. Now, it's not all Marvel movies. What would you rank this Spider-Man movie based on the Spider-Man? So I looked it up. There's 11. I don't know if there's some ones they don't count because I saw 11. I saw another number say 14. I'm counting the animated series. Have you seen the Into the Spider-Verse with Miles? I'm including that too.
Yes, I have seen that one. I used to watch Spider-Man TV show all the time, but I guess that's the TV show that doesn't count.
Yeah, just the movies got. So you got the 3. So I mean, you got the numbers. You got the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, the Andrew Maguire movies. I believe it's 3.
His was 2.
There's 2 of Andrew Garfield. Now there's 3 or 4 of just Spider-Man, but he also showed up in Civil War. That's when he first introduced, and of course, and Infinity War and Endgame. Which I think was he.
That would be 3. So, that's event. He showed up in a Captain America movie and 2 Avenger movies. Okay.
So I know this. He's been in 7. Tom Holland's been in 7 movies. So I think it's you count Endgame, Infinity War, and Civil War. That's 3 plus his own individual. That's 4. So yeah, that's 7 movies. So he's been in.
So that's 12.
4 solo movies. So that's 12. So yeah, so 12 plus the 2 animated movies. That's where you get the 14.
Okay, so the 2 with the anime. Okay,
that's what with
okay. Miles. So where would I rank this one? Ooh, so the very first Spider-Man is like nostalgic, and I really like them bringing the 3 Spider-Mans together. The whole point at each other.
Yeah, I like that
too. So the adult in me likes this one because it touches on, again, what I said, Marvel touches on mental health and you can't do this world alone. So for that, I'm going to put this top 3. I'm going to put it top 3. I don't know the nostalgia, but there's a couple of Spider-Man movies I could not see again.
Right,
but many of them I will watch multiple times.
Yeah, I like, in my opinion, this is number 1. I'm not gonna put. I love the animated ones, the Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse. So I'm just gonna put them off to the side because if I did rank them, they would probably be like 2 and 3. Because there's the second one, I think it's called Across the Spider-Verse. The way it ended, I've been waiting on that. I've been waiting on the next movie for like 3 years now because the way it left on the cliffhanger. So Into the Spider-Verse, Miles goes to all these different multiverses,
right,
trying to save his father because his father dies in, I think, I don't know if it's the first one or the second one. And so as he goes through this, he realizes that, okay, I'm in the wrong universe. And in that universe, Miles is actually a villain. So he actually runs into himself. And he was like, because in one, I think in the first one, his uncle is the Prowler. So he's trying to stop his uncle for that. Well, in whatever universe he jumps in, he is the Prowler. so he ended up catching himself. And so he was
That's
like,
crazy.
so the guy pulled the mask off. And he was like, because the guy, he told him, he said, man, you know what, my name, I'm Miles Morales. He was like, that's funny because I'm Miles Morales and I'm the Prowler. And so the movie got the ends like that when he realized, oh snap. And we've been waiting on that cliffhanger, you know, for 3 years now. I think 3 or 4 years. So I think Beyond the Spider-Verse is that the next one in that trilogy that's supposed to be coming.
Gotcha.
But,
I was hoping that they brought him to live action. I was hoping like
that's supposed to happen too. You know, I don't know who to. I don't think they've tried. I don't think they've looked or started to like cast for him. But as Tom Holland gets older, you know, Miles was a lot younger than Peter was. So you try to find a younger up and coming actor that could kind of look at Peter or Tom Holland character as like a mentor. So
yeah, they're going to trip if that becomes a thing. If a black Spider-Man comes, it's going to be.
I mean, hey, it's comic book accurate, so I mean, it can't be too bad. But yeah, this one would be number one. If I didn't rank the animated ones, I'll put this one, Spider-Man 2, as number 2, and then the original Spider-Man as number 1.
Which was who's the villain?
The Tom Holland, not Tom Holland, the Tobey Maguire second movie.
But who's the villain in that one? His friend was the Green Goblin.
Yeah, that's when Harry turns into like the Hobgoblin. Yeah,
the Hobgoblin. I like that one a lot too.
Yeah,
that was one of those that I can go back and watch again and again.
Yeah, the third one is Tom Holland. Tobey Maguire is the third Spider-Man movie. When they introduced Venom, they didn't do Venom right, so a lot of people don't like that movie the way the actor that played Venom, and then how Peter acted when he had the symbiote in him and all the. He almost turned into like a pimp, trying to like, what are you doing? but yeah, so that's kind of where I rank this movie. I can't go back now and say that it's not the top one when I just said in the previous video. This is the best one I've seen. So yeah, so
gotcha.
But
okay.
But yeah, like, you know, again, quick. I say quick. We had 43 minutes already. But yeah, quick recap of Spider-Man. Go see it again. Also, check out my other video where I talk about what you need to watch before Doomsday. Like and subscribe. Put in some comments or any other video you want me to review or to put out there. We open this channel up for many things. So yeah, thank y'all for joining. Again, like and subscribe, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace.